Mariana parked the car at the entrance of the old house, staring at the dusty windows that gazed back at her like tired eyes. It felt strange to be back after so many years. The last time she had been there, the house was still vibrant with the laughter of her grandmother. Now, it seemed like a ghostly reflection of the past. As she stepped out of the car, the cold morning air wrapped around her, bringing with it memories of summers spent in that house. Her grandmother had always been a central figure in her life. Mariana would visit every vacation, and the house, with its long hallways and many locked rooms, was a playground of childhood mysteries. But there was one room she was never allowed to enter, the room at the end of the hallway on the second floor. Her grandmother was strict about this, and out of fear of disobedience, Mariana never questioned it. Now, with the house in her hands after her grandmother's death, Mariana felt torn between organizing her grandmother's belongings and finally discovering what lay behind that locked door. She remembered her childhood curiosity, but now there was something more, something that bothered her. The silence in the house seemed to pulse, as if something was waiting, watching her every move. As she entered through the front door, the old wood creaked under her feet. She set her bags down in the hall and began walking through the house, recognizing the furniture, the old photographs, and the unmistakable scent of an aged home. But her eyes kept drifting back to the hallway upstairs, where the locked door remained, solitary and laden with secrets. That night, a heavy storm hit the house. Rain lashed against the windows, and the wind howled as if trying to break through the old walls. Mariana curled up on the couch with a blanket, attempting to distract herself with a book. However, with every thunderclap that shook the house, her mind wandered back to the locked room at the end of the hallway. As the storm intensified, a different sound caught her attention. At first, she thought it was the wind, but soon realized the noise was coming from inside the house. A faint scratching, almost imperceptible, as if something was trying to slip beneath the locked door. Mariana stood up slowly, setting the book aside, and walked down the hallway. The lights flickered, casting shadows that danced on the walls. The sound was clearer now, light footsteps, almost as if someone was pacing back and forth behind the door. She stopped a few feet from the locked door, holding her breath. She tried to convince herself it was just her mind playing tricks on her, that the sound was merely the old wood reacting to the storm. But the scratching continued, rhythmic, insistent. Mariana took a step back, her heart racing, and quickly returned to the couch. Maybe it was better to ignore what was happening, at least for tonight, but something inside her knew those sounds were just the beginning. The next day, Mariana couldn't shake the thoughts of the previous night. The scratching and light footsteps echoed in her mind, even as the house remained quiet in the daylight. The storm had passed, but the unease lingered. She knew there was something behind that door, and she needed to find out what it was. Determined to find the key to the room, Mariana climbed up to the attic, where her grandmother had stored countless old items. Dusty boxes were piled in one corner, filled with relics of the past. As she rummaged through them, she found old family photographs, letters yellowed with age, and a small chest. When she opened the chest, she found a set of old, rusted keys of varying sizes. One of them caught her attention, a larger key, sturdy in appearance, that seemed perfect for the locked door at the end of the hallway. With the key in hand, Mariana descended to the second floor, hesitant. She stopped in front of the door, her heart pounding. For a moment, she considered turning back, but curiosity and the need to understand what was happening overpowered her fear. With trembling hands, she inserted the key into the lock, and with a soft click, the door swung open. A cold draft flowed from the room, and a musty smell filled the hallway. Mariana entered cautiously, turning on the light. The room was covered in dust, with old furniture hidden under sheets. It looked as though no one had entered for decades. There was an old bed, a dark wooden wardrobe, and in the corner, a large oval mirror framed in carved wood. Despite the room's apparent normalcy, Mariana felt an overwhelming sense of oppression, as if something in that room had been waiting for her. In the days that followed, the room at the end of the hallway began to dominate Mariana's thoughts. She could barely sleep, and when she did, nightmares plagued her. In each one, she saw a woman who looked like her but with aged features, disheveled hair, and eyes that seemed to accuse her. The woman stared at her from the mirror in the room. Always the mirror. Mariana tried to ignore the dreams, but something in the room continued to call to her. One day, she decided to enter again, hoping to uncover the mystery that loomed over the place. As she stepped inside, the same oppressive feeling enveloped her, but this time her eyes went straight to the mirror. There was something about it that disturbed her, but she couldn't quite put her finger on what it was. She moved closer, and as she looked in her reflection, she felt a chill. There, standing in the background of the mirror, was the woman from her dreams, silently watching her. Mariana instinctively stepped back, but the reflection didn't change. It was as if the figure had been waiting for her, as if something had been left unfinished. Gradually, Mariana began to wonder if the mirror held secrets about her family's past, something her grandmother never wanted to tell her. The figure in the mirror seemed more than a distorted reflection. It was alive in some way, and somehow, Mariana felt that the key to understanding the mystery lay in confronting the presence that inhabited the mirror. The restlessness inside her grew with each passing day. The nightmares became more vivid, and the figure in the mirror more present. The feeling that the room hid something important was impossible to ignore. Determined to uncover what lay behind these mysteries, Mariana returned to the room, this time with the intention of exploring every corner. As she rummaged through the old furniture, she discovered a hidden compartment at the back of the wardrobe. It was a small, dusty drawer that hadn't been touched in years. Inside, there was a bundle of letters, aged by time, and a faded photograph of a woman who looked very much like Mariana, but older. On the back of the photo, a name she immediately recognized, Elisa, her great-grandmother's name, whom her grandmother rarely spoke about. The letters, written by Elisa, revealed secrets that Mariana had never imagined. Elisa described a dark presence in the house, which she believed was connected to the mirror in the locked room. In the letters, her great-grandmother spoke of a woman who appeared in the reflections and seemed to want to take the place of the women in their family. A chill ran down Mariana's spine as she realized Elisa's accounts were eerily similar to what she was now experiencing. The last letter ended abruptly, as if Elisa had been interrupted. Mariana was terrified to realize that her great-grandmother might have disappeared under mysterious circumstances. The presence in the mirror seemed to be connected to this woman in her lineage, as if it had been waiting for someone like Mariana. Now, the figure in the mirror wasn't just a shadow of the past. It seemed to be growing closer, and Mariana felt that time was running out to uncover the truth. Determined to face whatever was happening in the room, Mariana decided she had to confront the figure in the mirror. That night, a new storm approached, and the wind howled outside as if warning her that something was coming. Feeling the weight of the moment, Mariana entered the room, her heart pounding and her hands trembling. The mirror seemed to glow in the dim light, the glass reflecting the faint light seeping through the cracks in the window. As she approached, Mariana saw the figure form once again. The woman in the mirror, or was it her great-grandmother, Elisa, appeared to be waiting, her eyes fixed on her with a look of deep expectation. Mariana sensed that something was different this time. The figure moved, almost imperceptibly, but now there was a silent communication between them. Suddenly, the woman in the mirror began to speak. Her voice was low and cold, but filled with ancient pain. "You know who I am," said the figure, her her lips barely moving. "You were part of this, like all the women of our lineage. It's time for you to accept your role." Mariana, panicking, shook her head. "I'm not like you. I'm not part of this," she whispered, taking a step back. The figure chuckled softly. "You've always been a part. The mirror holds the secrets of our family, and now you must carry them too." Mariana felt a growing sense of despair. Without thinking, she grabbed a heavy object from a table and threw it at the mirror. The glass shattered with a sharp sound, and the figure disappeared. The room fell silent, except for the sound of her heavy breathing. However, as she looked down at the broken shards of glass on the floor, she still saw her reflection and knew that something inside her had changed forever. The mirror was destroyed, but the relief Mariana had hoped for didn't come. The room was silent, and the storm outside seemed to calm, but something inside her still weighed heavily. As she stared at the broken pieces of glass on the floor, she saw her own distorted reflection in each shard. But this time, it was just her. The figure, which had once haunted her dreams and thoughts, was gone. Mariana left the room, slowly closing the door behind her. The hallway was dark, and for a moment, she felt a chill run down her spine, as if the presence still lurked nearby. But now, the house felt different. The sound of footsteps and constant scratching had disappeared. The suffocating oppression that once surrounded her had dissipated, but the emptiness that remained was even more terrifying. Back in the master bedroom, Mariana began packing her things. She knew she couldn't stay in that house any longer. The secrets she had uncovered about her family and what had happened in the room at the end of the hallway were too heavy for her to bear. As she packed her clothes, she thought of the figure in the mirror, Elise's letters, and the mysteries that had been hidden for so long. Even with the mirror broken, the family's secrets were still there, trapped within the house. She closed her suitcase. Mariana took one last look down the hallway. The door to the room was closed, but for a brief moment, she thought she saw it open, ever so slightly, like a silent invitation. The fear began to rise in her again, but she knew she couldn't look back anymore. As she finally left the house and locked the door, she heard, very faintly, the sound of scratching coming from inside. Mariana paused for a moment, but moved forward, leaving the past behind, or at least trying to.